This is Wes. Hey, Uncle Al and Frank and everybody. Oh, y'all the only ones in here so far. But um, for you guys, what it is me and the Revolting Man here have actually been trying to get together and get one of these set up for a while. We just have conflicting schedules. We both have lives that get in the way of YouTube. So, but there's Jack. You want to tell them hi real quick?
Hi guys, this is the first time I've done this. This is kind of cool.
So,
I have technology problems. See, this is the first time I've had the technology to do it, so it's exciting
the
for
technology's a
me. How it is.
little, hey, Boski. Um, but we're gonna try to give the other people a few minutes to get the notification. How'd y'all find out I was going live anyway? I didn't notify anybody yet. Y'all just ghosted my channel or what?
Valuability is something to be resolved.
Oh, that's funny. Is Elle gonna make it? And for y'all, those of you who haven't heard, Rachel had her baby.
Yay, Rachel! Boy or girl?
Boy, she actually,
didn't name it after you.
I don't know why she didn't name it after me, but that's weird, huh? Anyway, they induced her. She was in the hospital in the live stream last night in SOS's live stream while they were inducing her labor. So
that's hardcore.
Yeah, it is. She's like, that's a fan right there.
Lance Huddleston.
His name's Lance Huddleston.
Born at 408.
408.
Weighing 8 pounds, 15 ounces.
What? No wonder they had to induce that. Anyway, 8 pounds. How many? 15 ounces. That's 1 ounce.
0.2 inches long.
1 ounce shy, 9 pounds and 22 inches long?
21.2.
21.2 inches long. That's a full grown kid. Did he come out with football pads? No. Okay. Anyway, I told her if she wasn't careful, he was going to be born naked. She didn't listen to me. That's a big baby.
My very first was 22 inches long, but she was like 7 pounds, so she was a stick.
A stick, yeah.
Just long and skinny.
Well, ours were all right at 8, just under it. 7 pounds 12, 7 pounds 9, 7 pounds something or other.
Did you see what Frank Burns said that he had been running a lot?
Oh, really? Frank Burns says he's been learning a lot from your channel. Hey, Chris.
Oh, Frank, tell him I said hi. Hi, Frank. I guess I could tell him.
Yeah, you can tell him.
Frank's he comments a lot. I enjoy seeing his comments.
And JAEUFM says hello. And C103 says hello.
Hey, C103, how are you, sir? We got to see him the other day down at the Viking meet and greet.
Oh, yeah?
I thought he was closer to me than he is.
Me and the missus were talking about that the other day. We're actually starting to regret making the drives because we met all these people that we really like, and they're all 14, 15 hours away. That's messed up. Well, actually, to Mark's house proper, I think it's from my house like 16 hours, and to Staff Sergeant and them, it's close. It's right at 20 hours.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
But we used to do it when we were younger. We'd just jump in the Bronco and we would just drive. We'd drive 24 hours straight. We'd pull over, get gas, and switch drivers and keep going. We don't do that anymore.
Now it $1,000 to drive a Bronco from Texas to Tennessee. That's what 12 miles to the gallon on the highway.
No, on the Bronco we had which I'm sorry we don't still have it, and I'm a bad human being, and it won't happen again. Sorry, honey. Got 19 miles a gallon on the highway.
That's not too bad. Was
not
that
bad at all.
the Bronco 1 or the Bronco 2?
It was a Bronco 1. It was
Big
regular
enough for the-
full-size Bronco, but it had a manual 4-speed in it with a 306 cylinder. Thing would climb rocks like, had the potential to climb rocks like nobody's business. Never took it climbing.
Yeah.
You ask the kids, we were never there. Never there. So, but, you know, back then, though, the speed limit was a little lower, so 24 hours was a lot longer than it is nowadays. But they had a notch war in the floorboard at about 65, and you could get there.
Now, Wes, did you just that when you were young, an hour was longer than it is today?
Mm-hmm. In driving time.
24 longer than it is today.
Yep. When I was young, you could make 55 miles in an hour. Today, you can make 75. So, an hour doesn't cover as much ground as it used to. Now, once you get out of Texas, it goes back to the 80s where, you know, the top speed limit is 55 or something like that. But what is the highest speed limit y'all have in Georgia over there? What, like 20 or something?
75
on
the highway. But you know, I mean, if you go 75, you're going to get run over because those Atlanta people are crazy. And
oh yeah, now people did speed up in Atlanta. I got to give them that, but everywhere else, it's like Tennessee's bad. Okay, we're driving on the road in Tennessee, and you could literally see the horizon. You could see Europe because of the flatness and straightness of the road. You could see that far. And the speed limit was 60. I'm like, it's 4 lanes. Why is the speed limit 60 miles an hour?
You must have been over there in West Tennessee.
Yeah. It's pretty. It was a really pretty slow drive.
Yeah, it's a pretty state. Tennessee is one of the places you could convince me to move to if you tried.
I've actually been poking around looking at the land for sale, and there's some really affordable land in Tennessee.
Yep.
But it's West Tennessee, and there's no work, so you better carry your work with you.
And you don't want to be in them. East Tennessee is beautiful, but there's no land because it's all national forest. You know? What there is you know, rental cabins for Pigeon Forge and Dollywood.
Yeah, we run into that sometime. Okay, I'm gonna have to go get a cup of coffee. I'm gonna start coughing. So entertain the people.
Yeah.
I do that to everybody, so it's nothing special.
This is great. Wes just gave me unrestricted access to his subscriber base. I love this. I can do with this what I will. Let me see. What should we talk about? Well, hopefully we'll talk about this when Wes gets back. But this is the burning issue on my mind right now. And I'm sorry, guys, I can't see any comments, so I'm just going to try to go blind here for a minute. But the election's on Tuesday. I know sometimes there's a lot of people in our community who don't vote, and I am begging you, please vote. I know they say this every time, but it's true every time. The stakes in this election are so high, and they are ridiculously high. Again, they were ridiculously high last time. They'll be ridiculously high next time. This is the era we live in. We are on a knife's edge, teetering, and we're going to fall one way or the other. And you have to go vote. Please go vote. I do not consider myself a Republican. I'm uploading a video about this right now. We shot this video today after church. So if you watch that video, you'll hear a lot of the same stuff. But I'm not a Republican. I don't like the Republicans. They're not conservative. But we got to vote Republican, and I hate that. I wish there was an alternative, but we have to have Republican congressmen in right now. We have to. It is essential to the survival of the republic uh, that that we have a Republican Congress come Wednesday morning. And Wes is back now, so I'll stop babbling.
No, you can keep going. I'll be the devil's advocate and say that you're right.
I was going to say, you're going to be the devil's advocate and put on your Hillary hat.
Yeah.
You got her T-shirt.
Yeah.
So tell
Make
me,
America dead again. I'm gonna throw something out there though on that voting or whatever. There's a lot of people that say voting doesn't matter. Who cares? I mean, that's if you're willing to give up your right to vote, which you have the right not to vote also. But if you're willing to throw away your right to vote, then you make it easier for them to take away your right to keep your gun. Yep. It's that simple. And look, I went through on my ballot. I found out who was on the ballot, and I checked their grade on gun control. I checked and found out if they had a because this is local people. I found out if they went to the range. I found out if they'd ever been to a rally to shut down gun ownership. I found out if how they, if they watched Fox News or CNN. I went and found out about these people. I voted for 3 libertarians because the Republicans and the Democrats both had sucky records. I voted for 3 judges who were pro Second Amendment. More pro Second. They had a higher rating for Second Amendment rights than anybody else. So I voted for a party that I do not support.
Yeah, that's me. Unfortunately, I will vote probably straight Republican this time around. We don't have a libertarian.
Dry Fire Faith said, "Hello, Revolting Man," and he's going live at 8:30 Central Time. That's the same time as me. That's right. You're in the same state as me. Are you going to make it to one of the meet and greets, Dry Fire?
Oh, Dry Fire here. Hey, Dry Fire, how are you?
Coming up. Your mic's messing up, Dry Fire or Revolting Man. You got the mic covered?
I don't think so. I might.
Okay, now there you go.
Change my hand.
Yeah.
Okay,
you're
sorry.
Back.
Hey, Dry Fire would be a good one to do one of these. So that's an entire. K-pop? Is your anime playing in the background? Oh, that was his cell phone. I guess it'll be my turn to talk again. Dry Fire, I can't see the comments, but if you're still watching, we should do one of these one time too. This is the first time I've ever done one like this, and I still don't know how to set it up, but I do know it can be done now. So we should do some more of these, and you and I share some interests, so we should do one. But send me an email, Dry Fire. I don't know if you ever had. I don't remember if you ever have or not. I'm sorry, I don't remember, and I should. But therevoltingman@outlook.com, and maybe we'll even talk Wes S into doing one of these with us. What I was going to say earlier about the elections is if you're one of those people who believes, and I do actually, I agree, I believe this too, that elections get stolen frequently. I believe that election in Alabama got stolen. It makes it harder to steal elections when people vote because there's more votes being cast. So it's harder for those. You can only stuff the ballot box so much before it becomes so egregiously obvious no one can ignore it anymore. And the more people who vote, the more it makes it harder for them to stuff that ballot box, and the less effective it becomes too. I mean, if they only stuff it 5,000 votes and we get 10,000 extra people to vote, then it doesn't matter anyway. The point is, it's just critical that you go vote, people. Anyway, I guess that's all I can say about vote. I really can't see the comments. I wish I could. So I guess I can make a little announcement. I don't know how many people are watching, but we have another baby coming. We're pretty excited. This will be our 14th total. It'll be the 11th for me personally and the 7th for Mariah. Eighth. I'm sorry, it'll be her eighth. Yikes! It's pretty bad when you start running them all together. Uh, but we're pretty excited. That's going to be. It's just a blessing. You know, when I was younger, every time we got a new baby, I'd get all, rah, 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 and act like I was such a man. And the older I've gotten, the more. Yes, you in the back, Wes. Did you have a question?
No, she was telling me that Dryfire said he would love to whatever y'all were talking about. So
okay. But the older I've gotten, the more of a blessing it's become, and the more humbled it's made me. Now, when we have another child, I'm just humbled and very grateful and gratified. Whereas in the past, I'm such a man. I've come to realize now it has nothing to do with my masculinity.
Every time we have a kid, I think, oh man, not another one.
Oh, child support's going to be that much more when she leaves me.
Yeah, something like that. That all the men I know are almost. I mean, well, let me put it like this way. I now understand why stepdads seem to be. When somebody has stepchildren, they seem to live in a nice 3 or 4 bedroom house with 2 or 3 baths and drive 6 cars. It's because there's another man out there paying him $1,200 or $1,500 a month rent for his kids or whatever it is. I don't even know.
It goes both ways. I'm a stepfather as myself, so I could talk for a very long time about the family injustice system. We have really screwed the whole thing up.
Yeah,
it's been terrible, and we've made it an industry. We've made breaking families up into an industry that people profit from.
We really have, and it's pathetic. And that's something else. That's another reason to vote. I voted for the Attorney General, and guess what? Not a woman.
Not a woman.
And I know that's sexist and everything like that, but biblically speaking, I never vote for the lady.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've yet to be put in a position where I don't have a choice. When it comes, though, that'll be the first time probably that I don't vote. I might do a write-in or something, but it's a curse to be ruled over by a woman. We have that in Isaiah, I believe.
Well, I don't know so much about the curse, but it's even if you're a Christian, it's still plain and simple. I do not suffer a man to have authority or a woman to have authority over men. So There you go. Now, preachers, or not preachers, but teachers and all that kind of stuff, I'm fine with. But in our personal life, they hired a female to run someplace, and that place is falling, literally imploding because it's there's a lot of really, really capable women out there that are strong character. They've got good morals, good ethics. They have the capacity. I'm not saying they do not have the capacity to do the job. I'm saying that God said they're not supposed to. That's all I'm saying.
Dry fire says, what is revolting?
What is can I give you the Revolting Man's email, or give the Revolting Man's email out?
Yeah, therevoltingman@outlook.com. This is kind of one of the big topics for me, feminism and masculinity and how it all interacts. And one of the things you kind of see if you look throughout history, there's not a lot of like, and this isn't my original thinking. There's this woman named Camille Paglia who's just brilliant. She calls herself a feminist, but she's really not. but she talks about how there's really no female Leonardo da Vinci's. There's no female Michelangelos. There's no female Shakespeare's. There's also no female Hitlers. There's no female Jack the Rippers. Men tend to be at the extremes far more of both excellence and terribleness, and women seem to be there at that middle level a lot more than men are, one way or the other. And that kind of manifests itself in leadership potential too. There's not a lot of women who have strong leadership potential.
I
They're
just
just
got
not.
something. I just poured hot water. And that what I'm saying. I mean, women can. They're just not supposed to. I mean,
Well, think about the women who have throughout history. I mean, so women have throughout history, so it's been possible. As far back as Elizabeth the First or Catherine the Great, uh, Empress Josephina, whatever her name was there in Austria. Uh, it's been possible, but many of them just don't do it for whatever reason. And I mean, I think I know what that reason is. I mean, it's not what they were, like you said, it's not what they were created or designed for. And it's not like I'm any great leader myself. You've been to my house, you see how we live.
well, yeah. I mean that it happens is actually in the Bible too. I've noticed that there's evil under the sun. The God causes it to rain on the just and the unjust. You know what I'm saying? I mean, stuff happens to everybody. We can't all be millionaires. That's just the way it is. Money would have no value if everybody had an equal amount. And that's what socialists don't get. That's what the people that are trying to get the Democrats in and get socialism pushed in don't understand is once everybody's got an equal share of the pie isn't worth anything.
Yeah. Also, God won't give me money because he knows I'd abuse it. I don't know how much cocaine and how many strippers it'd take, but it probably would be a shockingly small number of them. So God only gives me what I can handle. and it's a little disappointing to me how little I can handle.
Yeah, there's that. That may be my deal. I mean, I guess there's, if I had all the money in the world and, could build row after row of building, just this big, long shotgun barn full of classic cars and trucks with an indoor shooting range, long distance shooting range, so I could sit in the air conditioning and do my 300-yard shot without having to go outside and have to worry about the wind and all that other unnecessary crap. And the glare from the sun and the heat and the sweat getting in your eyes, all that crap you got to deal with at the range. Not that I would abuse being a millionaire, but I'm just saying I would probably waste a little money, like most of it.
Yeah, I think I would probably abuse it because my tendency is to sit on the couch and stare at my navel and think thoughts. And I'm someone who needs some external motivation to get going in the morning.
Yeah.
Money would not be good for me.
Looking through the job or one ads for jobs or whatever, looking for self-starter, scratch that one out. Looking for self-starter, scratch that one out. That's me anyway.
Oh, great job too.
$150,000 self-starter. Well, I didn't want to make that much money anyway.
If they're paying that much, they want you to do something immoral.
Yeah, like show up on time. What kind of crap is that? I was known, they started scheduling me at one job I had. They didn't tell me they did this. They changed my schedule. Instead of working from 7 to 4, my schedule was 7:05 to 4 because you're only allowed to, they put in a new policy or whatever, you're only allowed to be late so many times or whatever. And they didn't want to have to run me off, so they just changed my schedule. And they didn't tell me, so I was still killing myself trying to get there at 7, but I'd make it there at 7:01, 7:02, whatever.
That is me.
You
Well,
know,
we have a pretty attendance policy at our plant too, but I'm always just a little worried about. I live 4.9 miles from work, so I can literally roll out of bed at 7:40 and still make it. But I don't need to be pushing it like that.
I
So
knew it took 11 and a half minutes to get there, and I always left when I had 9 minutes left and tried to make it up on the road. Like, dude, it's a 4-cylinder truck and there's only 3 of them firing. You're not going to make it. I
all
drove
right.
a
So what
beater
we're
when I
gonna
went there.
talk? What we're gonna talk with the people about this evening, sir?
Oh, we're going to talk about the election. We kind of covered that a little bit, but
Hey, are you guys gonna send Cruz back, or y'all gonna send that Beto guy up there?
if if Beto gets elected, I am, we're, we're buying dirt outside the state of Texas.
What is there a good chance? I mean, what's what's it looking like? Is it look like he's gonna make it, or is
It's
Cruz gonna
really
run?
close still. I mean, there needs to be a lot of people show up. And yeah, Cruz is not a winner, okay? Cruz is not, he's not my guy. But
Yeah.
Beto is my sworn enemy. He is for everything I stand against. If I don't vote, and I already did, I wouldn't vote it. If I didn't vote for Cruz, not voting for Cruz is a vote for Beto. I had to check Cruz because elsewise, the guy that does vote for Beto one-ups me. I mean, the guy doesn't know the difference between marijuana and heroin. He's an idiot. He
You know what? I think
does
he does.
not
Just look
want
at him. I
border
bet he
patrol.
does.
He doesn't. Well, then he wants to make heroin legal in the state of Texas.
That doesn't surprise me either. My
He
beautiful bride
does not
enlightened
want
me.
the border patrol. He basically wants a border patrol that keeps Americans from going over and doing bad stuff in Mexico. But there's nothing wrong with Mexican people. The people from Mexico just want to come over and enjoy what we have in America. Well, then make Mexico. Okay, you've got the same topography. You've got oil, you've got gas, you've got rivers, you've got forests, you've got deserts, you've got cities, you've got infrastructure, you've got all this really cool stuff. Just make your country like America. Then, boom, problem solved. Volunteer to be the 51st state. And then we'll open the border and we'll just all run down there and we'll get rid of all of the drug cartels and gangbangers and stuff down there because it will be the Mexican county of Texas and we'll just send the Texas Rangers down there and clean them the happy butt out.
I wish it was that easy to export what we have because what we have here is wonderful and you want everyone else to have it. But a country like Mexico is kind of proof positive that it's not that easy. I mean, Mexico's got all the natural resources. They've got the oil. They've got almost a lot of the same things we have geologically and agriculturally and everything, and it's not working for them. And it's the culture.
Yeah,
The
their
Pilgrims didn't show
culture
up here in America.
is not conducive to success. In the culture that, I mean, we're not talking the old Western movies and stuff like that. The stuff they show on the what do you call it, Willie Nelson Westerns and stuff like that. That is not Mexican culture.
Greatest movie of all time. Well, not one of the greatest movies of all time.
They've got there's a lot of beauty in their culture down there, but it's not. You have to get all the way to the bottom of it for it to work or to know about it. I've got some really good friends that are Hispanic, that are of Americans of Latin descent. Does that sound, is that politically correct enough?
CM said congratulations, Mr. and Mr. Revolting Man.
Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Revolting Man, on I don't know. What are the balloons for? What y'all do?
We got another baby coming.
You did not.
I know. I don't know how it keeps happening. I think it's because we keep washing our clothes together.
Probably.
Brian Morlock.
I'll have to hire someone to do my laundry from now on.
Congratulations. Brian Morlock said what?
Brian Morlock said, as a revolting man, if you ever need a chainsaw, call me. I have 3 new and 2 old ones.
Revolting. Oh, if Zach, if you ever need a chainsaw, call me. I have 3 new ones and 2 old ones. A 1936 Poulon bow saw and a 1950 Poulon saw. And that's from Brian Morlock.
Those old bow saws are cool. If you've never seen one of those old bow saws he's talking about, those are awesome. They're really dangerous too, though. But neat saw. Who was that? Who made the offer on the chainsaw?
Brian Morlock. He was at the meet and greet where we were there.
Yeah, he was at this last one too.
We used to cut our firewood with a crosscut. That's how I know how to cut firewood, with a freaking crosscut saw.
Yeah, I cut most of ours with a crosscut last year. Not all of it, but probably half of it. And then this year I waited too long, so I just pulled out the chainsaw and I just had a video up about it. As I think probably what Brian's referring to.
Yeah, I saw it where it looked like your saw had been sitting in the Sahara Desert for 10 years or something like that. But it was just sawdust.
Yeah, I was just sitting in my shed for 10 months instead. That tells you something about my shed. The Sahara for 10 years or my shed for 10 months. It sounds like an option God gave King David or something, but
we're not going to talk about sheds and their condition. My deal is I can literally sweep my shed out tomorrow, and by the end of November, it'll have a ½ inch of dirt in the bottom of it. Because all the grass is going to die and the wind's going to blow, and that's going to be it. And there will be dirt piled up everywhere until it rains again.
Yeah. Mine just doesn't have any sides to it. And I have terrible organizational skills. And on top of that, usually when I walk in there to pick something up, I have something else in my hand that I have to set down. So I just have piles of junk everywhere.
So that would be the good thing about winning the lotto, is you could hire somebody to pick up after you. Hey, Michael and HNX, and hold on, I gotta say hi to some people I've been missing. Mama on a Budget, Michael Signs, HNX. Who else have I missed? A bunch, probably. Eric, I missed Eric and Nancy. Yeah, I think that's all. I think I may have said hi to CM, but I'll say hi again. The last time I swept it, I found 2. So 1 little one and 1 big one. I stomped on the little one, fed it to the chickens, and I ate the big one.
What is this we're talking about?
Oh, how many snakes I find when I sweep my shed. I actually have a enclosed storage building or whatever. And I was in there moving some stuff around, and I had I have these giant tablets that I use for brainstorming on instead of a dry erase board. It's old school. It's actually paper. You can use a pencil on it. But I picked one up, and I'm like, man, this roll's heavier than the other one. I'm like, I wonder what's in it. So I unroll it. Bull snake falls out in my hand. I'm like, ah! It got in there. It was cold, so he didn't move real quick. But he scared the snot out of me. I threw him about 20 feet.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of snakes around here. I sat on a timber rattler one time. I sat on a log, and he was underneath the log in between my feet and the log. And that's out of all the years I've spent thrashing around in the woods around here. That's the first time I've ever seen a rattlesnake in the wild. And I scared him about as much as he scared me, and he scared me pretty bad. So he went one way and I went the other. That was
I'm reading the chat. Brian Morlock's fitting to come build you a new mansion. Or no, your chainsaw new mansion. Or something. Like
Brian, what kind of saws you got? Other than you said that pole and bow saw, I heard that. But I ran across an old John. I didn't even know this existed.
Oh, he said he'd send you some wood for your shed. Or something. I don't know. Some footage. The chat's doing this jumpy thing, and I'll just focus on the line, and then it'll move. So
yeah, I hate that.
To rebuild his
John
storage.
Deere chainsaw about a year ago. Someone was selling it at a yard sale for $25. I wish I'd have bought it, but I didn't.
I'm trying to remember what the brand is on my chainsaw, which hasn't been fired up in 2 years.
What color is it?
Yellow and black.
Poland.
No, it's dadgummit. It's supposed to be a good one. I forget what it is.
Thought that was Poland's commercial grade.
Man, maybe it works really good when I use it, but I go out and I harvest dry standing, or I go to where they've root plowed a field or whatever, and they've got just 4 or 5 cords of wood stacked up in a pile out there that's all seasoned, and I just bring it home, cut all the sticky outs off, and I put it in my chop saw. I just run it through there and cut it to length. I can cut it. I can haul it in lengths and cut it to firewood size in about 1/3 of the time.
You know what? I get this stuff at work called dunnage, and it's just these 3-foot long pieces of hardwood they put underneath stuff so they can get pallets underneath, or forklifts and pallet jacks underneath it, and then they just throw it away. And it's great stuff. So I bring it home and I stack it up, and then I can just cut it in half, and you don't even have to split it or anything. It's just this great piece of firewood.
Yeah.
So,
I burn a lot of old fence posts too. Fence posts, they burn really hot though. Gotta be careful. If you put too many of them in your wood burning stove, the sides of it turn red. So,
yeah, they have creosote on them, don't they?
No, they're just the cedar around here. It's all red cedar, and it's got a lot of oil in the wood. It's a cedar fence post is almost as good as fat wood for starting a fire. It really is. It's amazing how fast that stuff will take off and burn.
Wow.
Yeah, he has 3 Poulon Pro 2 18-inch, 1 20-inch blade, 1 new saw, and 1 1950 Poulon 18 saw. Why you got so many chainsaws, Brian? Oh, y'all live where there's trees, huh?
Yeah, we got a lot of trees. I was just wondering what you were doing with the chainsaw, cutting the cactus or something.
No, we got a mesquite, but if you can ever find anybody that's willing to let you go out and cut wood, and because my apologies, this is going to be ethnically insensitive, but these guys will show up and they say, hey, can we go cut some wood? And they say, yeah, go out there and cut the dead trees out. And they just start at the fence line and start cutting. And then you're never allowed to go back, because if you cut a good healthy tree down, it comes up as this bush, and the woods are now impenetrable. You have mesquite bushes with thorns 2 and 3 inches long that are needle sharp on the end, as a wall between you and your hunting area now, as opposed to the respectful thing to do is say, hey, is it okay if I go out there and cut? And they say, yeah. You go out there and you cut, because if you find a big mesquite tree, there's going to be 5 or 6 limbs in it that are 8 inches around that are dead. So you've got, you go out there and cut the dead, the seed, already it's standing wood. It's not rotten. There's nothing wrong with it. You can cut that stuff. It's already seasoned. It's ready to rot. There's a lot more walking. There's a lot more work, but you don't destroy the people's long-standing mesquite growth. And it actually makes it better for the wildlife and stuff like that. They don't do that crap anymore. People go out there and cut it down to the ground, and then there's no way to get out there. You can't walk through where the mesquites were or anything. And it's 2 years. In 2 years, you cannot get through there. So people have ruined it for other people.
And then Dry Fire said, I sent a message to Revolting Man. Please let him know.
Okay. Revolting Man got an email from Dry Fire Faith and hello, Fishing Southwest with Jackson.
Dry Fire, I'll check that. Well, I have to check it on this device I'm on, so I won't check it for a while, but I'll check it and I'll respond the next day or so.
Brian.
I'm bad about getting into my email, to be honest with you.
Good night, Brian. If you get a chance sometime this week, drop me a text or something.
Hey, isn't a budget on a Mama Dry Fire's wife? You said Mama on the budget's on here too, right?
Yeah, Mama on a budget's in here.
That's Dry Fire's wife.
Oh.
So we got the whole family. Anywho.
But there's on the meeting, our other topic we wanted to run through was the meet and greets. And there's 2 meet and greets in Texas that I know of this month. The 11th in Midland and the 17th in Big Springs. So they're 40-something miles down the road from each other. No, 60-something miles down the road from each other. But the one on the 11th in Midland is at the IHOP. That is the Grouchy Dude doing that one. I'll be there.
Grouchy Dude.
Yeah. He actually works southwest of Midland, Odessa. And he's like me. He's trying to homestead in the desert. So, and then the 17th, that's me, and I'll be at the TA at Big Springs at 2:00.
Cool.
I've already had a couple people say they would be there for both of them.
What kind of turnout are you expecting?
I don't know. If people show up, they show up. I really want people to show up. There was a lot of family and stuff that showed up at the last one, and it was pretty good. Grouchy Dude showed up. We still got a lot of good talking going on. I don't understand why Texas is so hard to get people to open up. I saw a good video by Prepping for Sensible People or something. I think's the name of the channel. Can't remember. But, he was talking about how stupid it is that people are like, the first thing a prepper learns from another prepper who doesn't know what he's talking about is don't let anybody know you're a prepper. Don't let anybody know you're doing this. Don't let anybody see your face. Those are 3 lies, big lies. That's why it's so hard to network, because people, you've got to hide from the man. The man knows who you are, whether you let anybody else know or not. All you're doing is keeping yourself from having friends.
Yep.
Mama on a Budget has a question. Mama on a Budget. What kind of glass doors? Oh, sorry. Mama on a Budget said, have you ever built greenhouses or built a greenhouse from old glass doors. We have them stacked up in our yard. Any tips? You're still going to have framing material for it, but sounds like it'd work to me. That's what her greenhouse. If I ever get out there and do it, it's going to be.
I would question using those for the roof, though. I wonder if they have that type of strength where they can support their own weight from the middle like that. The glass itself. Because there's when they're standing straight up and down, all that pressure's, that
Straight up
weight
and
is,
down.
yeah, different than it would be if they were flat. I would want to look into that before I put them on a roof.
If they were the
That
big glass storm doors, that's supposed to be tempered glass. I would think it would be okay.
like I said, I don't know. That
But
was
I
just
don't know.
that occurred to me. I know, like when you're carrying those big glass sheets, you have to be really, really careful because they're a lot easier to break when they're flat like that. But I don't know that that's necessarily that kind of glass. I just know, uh, other jobs I've done and been involved with, when you're carrying those glass sheets flat, you have to be really careful with them. Some glass sheets, I guess.
You can let too much light into your greenhouse. Um, Glass lets it all in, and it can get pretty toasty in there. Um,
Uh, where the mom on the budget? Where are y'all at? I know I'm supposed. What's that? Oh, they're in Texas. Mariah's sitting right here next to me. She says they're in Texas, so I would imagine that. Yeah, that could be possible. You could let in way too much light pretty
yeah.
quick down there, huh?
Hey,
Tell me this: how
Mariah, y'all need to change y'all's laundry soap.
she giggled.
Okay.
I mean, how many
Congratulations.
months out of the year? When's the first and last freezes down there in Texas?
Uh, yep. It varies from one side of the state to the next. We should have already got ours, but I'm not going to hold out for a decent frost until late November. We had the one that should have been our killing frost come through, but it didn't make it. So,
my question was is what it would have been, is there really a need for a greenhouse in Texas? But it sounds like maybe there is, huh?
oh yeah, from mid to late December through February, you need some long johns up in here. It's cold. February can kill in this part of the world.
I'm on a budget. Said hi, DFS answered the door question.
Okay, thank you. Mama on budget said she got that answer.
How many glass doors does she have, and where'd they get them all? Because that's a great idea. I'd never actually.
It really
heard what
is.
you mean.
I do remodeling. I've got two the big sliding doors out of a old commercial building. It was actually a dance hall, but they had they're 8 foot by, I don't want to lie. I think they're 8 foot by 82 inches, and one of the 4 foot panels slides open. Though that's going to wind up being the ends of the greenhouse, and then I'm going to put fiberglass everywhere else. I'm going to face the south and east. Have it facing to the south and east so that the setting sun comes through the glass during the winter or whatever. But I've got the place picked out right over there. It's just I've stacked all the doors and stuff over there, and they're flipping heavy. Took 4 of us to get them off the trailer, and I can't move them by myself. I guess I could just stand them up and build it right there, but that's not where I want it. So.
You know what I've got that I need help moving? I should have used you when you were here. The place where I work, we make. I maybe even told you about this when you're here. I don't remember. We make buildings that get shipped and put, but they're not like garden sheds. They're big industrial commercial buildings. And one of the buildings we made, was bulletproof, and it actually went out there near you somewhere. I think it may have been New Mexico, but it was somewhere out west, right on the border, on an Indian reservation. But it had an inch and a half of Kevlar on the outside and an inch and a half of Kevlar on the inside. And the sheets were 4 foot wide by 10 foot long, and we had several of them left over. And I tried to get them at the time, but two other guys got them. One of the guys was in a rental house and he got evicted, and he just left the sheets there, and they weigh about 700 pounds apiece. But the other guy's got two sheets. He just wants them out of his garage now. So as soon as I can find enough guys to help me move 700-pound sheets of Kevlar, I'm going to have 4x10 sheets of bulletproof, inch and a half thick Kevlar to do something with.
Yeah, I know how that goes. I had a guy offered to give me about $900 worth of granite. I mean, actual, not granite, marble. I mean, not the fake stuff that they're putting in, but this stuff was pink marble. And
wow,
I didn't have anybody to help me move it. So, I mean, it was pink. I could have got over it though. I mean, especially after I found out where it was from, pink marble was fine. And you know, I would have had to rebuild my kitchen floor to hold the counters up, but I could have done that. I don't know how I was going to cut a hole for the sink.
Falling through the kitchen floor.
Yeah, that's those cabinets are awful low, honey. I don't know what happened. But
that'd been pretty though. That pink marble is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. And it's the real stuff. You can get that. Oh, it's like plastic stuff with rock in it. I mean, now I'm not disrespecting it. The stuff's really nice. You just don't drag a knife across it. And you don't drag a knife across real marble either, or you're going to need a new knife.
Yeah.
You only got to do it a few times.
One of the last remodel jobs I did, the guy wanted me to make him concrete countertops, which I had never done before, and he knew I hadn't. He just wanted me to try it. But we did. We made a form up on top of his existing counters, and we poured concrete in there on top of rebar. I haven't seen it since we did it, but at the time it looked really good. We sanded it down, and then you had to put all these layers of they called it slurry. It's just mortar mixed real wet, and you just put layer after layer, and then you sand it down again, and it made a marble type look to it. And we put a couple of coats of this expensive sealant on there. It looked gorgeous the last time I saw it. I have no idea how well it lasted, but he paid me good money to do it, so I hope it lasted well.
Mama on the budget says, Revolting Man, tell your wife I said hello and that I hope her pregnancy is wonderful. It's time for me to go read Little House on the Prairie to the baby. Much love to you all. And thank you for the subscribe part thing.
She heard all that, Ma, and she's nodding and smiling. And I don't know why you would read those dark, hard, terrible books to your children. No, I'm kidding. But you know what? There is some dark, hard stuff in those books. If you've ever read those books, it will make you question your masculinity when you read the Little House on the Prairie books. Those were some tough, hard people who could deal with adversity.
I knew a man, you know, tough. I knew a man that served in World War II. And I wasn't there when he did this, but he was always in a bit of a mood, you know, aggravated, I guess would be the best way to put it. But periodically he would stop what he was doing and he would literally take his pocket knife out of his pocket, either pull up a pants leg or move his shirt and start digging in his own body and pop out a piece of steel. He spent from 1943 to 2002 with shrapnel in his body. And when it would finally work its way close enough to the top, he would get it out.
That's hard. That's as hard as woodpecker lips right there.
Hey, Brian Morlock says he has a wrecker sling that'll haul that Kevlar.
Oh,
Y'all have
I
each
hadn't
other's
thought about that.
contact information, I'm hoping, right?
Yeah, yeah. Brian, it's laying flat on the ground. I don't know how we'd hook to it with that. I don't know how to get it up off the ground except to just hoss it. Because it's in this guy's carport.
Wes Wind's in here, and HDP's in here, and Dad on YouTube's in here.
Hey, Dad on YouTube. Hi, Desert Pioneer and Westwind Survival. How are y'all tonight? And who?
Hey, Wes.
Best Life.
Which pioneer is that?
Hi, Desert.
High Desert Pioneer. I know West Wind Survivals, but the High Desert Pioneer, I'm not sure if I recognize that one or not. I hate being rude to people.
HDP, we just call him HDP. He's from like the high desert, and he's a pioneer. He's got pigs and goats and chickens, and he burns sunflowers and perfectly good fence posts for whatever reason.
How do you burn sunflowers?
All right, dry fire. We'll probably be off here pretty quick. I'll try to swing by and say hey. But seriously, y'all get out there and vote, whether you think it's worth it or not. If it's not going to do any good, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. But
it takes 45 minutes. It probably doesn't even take 45 minutes. Just go. It costs nothing. And you know what? Sometimes I'll have guys tell me, I'm ready. Anytime the balloon goes up, I'll grab my rifle. Don't tell me you're willing to do all that if you're not willing to go vote, because
exactly
going to vote costs nothing. And if you're not going to be faithful in the little things, you're not going to be faithful in the big things. So go be faithful in the little things.
Well, I got you on here.
I think it's stupid.
Zach, I already did it once. There's my new toy. Big.
Oh, yeah, that's your Security 6.
Really long.
I love that pistol.
It's the front of bullets.
It's got the hoe grip on.
Beat the it's got a I don't know. The guy said a number. I said, I don't know about all that. And he said, well, give me a number. And I said a number, and he's like, okay, and stuck his hand out. I was like, well, that was entirely too easy.
Have you got to shoot it very much yet?
Oh, okay, but I knew that. I figured there had to be something wrong with them. Just because it looks good on TV doesn't mean it's good. Was I yelling? Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Didn't mean to yell at you. And just for the record,
that doesn't apply to Wes. Wes looks good on TV and in real life.
Yeah, thank you very much. Whatever you do, do not try to stick a 223 in this gun. It goes almost all the way through. I don't even know why that's up there. Pardon me, 5.56. That's not 223. But while we're getting run off of YouTube, what caliber is it? Nobody can tell me, can they? And if you know, don't cheat.
45 Colt.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can you see that? Can you see that? That right there?
Is that 30 carbine?
This is a 17 HMR.
Oh, Lord. I would have never gotten that.
It goes really, really fast. It's as loud as that 38. Well, it's as loud as the 38 out of the 357. I mean, it's a seriously loud thing. But that little tiny projectile comes out the end quick.
What is the point of a 4-inch barreled 17 HMR? I got to know.
It's actually is that a 4-inch? It's a 5-inch barrel. But I had a 17 HMR rifle that I detested, and I saw that and it was pretty. And I was talking to the guy. He said, "Well, I'll trade you." So I brought it in there, and that's a brand new gun. The rifle was 20 years old, and I hadn't shot it in 15. So,
no, it looks cool.
yeah, it's fun. It saved a chicken's life today. So I'm satisfied with it.
You know what I just got that made me think of you? I got a brother still on active duty. Well, he's in the reserves, but he was on deployed, and he got back last month, and he gave me his Beretta holster.
Oh wow!
So now I've got a holster for a Beretta, and I don't have a Beretta. So I think that means I have to buy a Beretta now, right?
That's what
Isn't
I'm
that how
hearing.
that works?
Uh,
That's what I tell myself.
You want a 9mm Beretta, though, right? If you could get it.
Well, you know, if I wouldn't argue either way. I really like that 96 of yours. That was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what the 40 does to things.
What's that?
What?
I didn't hear what you said.
Is that good to see you? How is Bitty Boo?
Bitty Boo. Hi, Bitty Boo.
Hey, Bitty.
And she said, "How is who?"
Bitty, how are you feeling? How did the heart surgery go?
And say hello.
And are you done? Is this the last? Or you have one more coming, don't you, Bitty?
Hello, Savage, Zeus, and who else?
Isaac.
Isaac. Oh, hey, Isaac and Savage. Bitty has a heart attack proof vest or something on now, and I haven't had time to watch the video. I'm sorry, but Bitty, I'm going to narc them out. They wash their clothes together, and Mariah's going to have another baby. So yeah.
Yeah.
And she's doing okay.
Oh, good, Bitty. Glad to hear you're doing okay. But we were thinking about you the other day when you had your surgery.
The only thing I don't like about the 17, for a varmint gun, that's what I got the rifle for, was a varmint gun. Within 50 yards, it's traveling so fast that it shreds everything it goes through. It literally takes the head off. It leaves the ears and the nose. If you shoot a rabbit in the head, that's it. The side it goes in isn't even there. It literally, it's traveling so fast, it just sucks everything out the other side. But at over 100 yards, I don't know what the deal is. It will not bring down a coyote. 22, you can drop a coyote in its tracks with a 22 Magnum at 200 yards. You can't do it with 17.
So. Interesting. How big are y'all's coyotes out there?
They're from Texas. You ever seen a dire wolf? They're not that big, but
I should have known. I should not have asked. How big are they? They're Texas side.
They're Texas. Honestly, they're bigger than the ones I saw over in Tennessee. They're not much. They probably got 5 or 6 pounds on them, but 5 or 6 pounds on a wild animal is a lot.
Yeah.
I
know the ones we have here are about the size of a small German Shepherd. I was shocked at how big they were when they started showing up. We never had them in here for years and years and years. Within the last 10 to 15 years, they've started showing up again finally.
Y'all are getting coy dogs over there. I've seen it on YouTube. They're people. Well, we got black coyotes. Well, you retard. I'm sorry, guy. I mean, there might be a black coyote out there. Coyotes act like this. Okay, this is the way a coyote acts. There's a little box. This is coyote. If it's outside the box, it's not a coyote. If it acts like a dog, it's a dog. So, and we're getting those back again around here as coy dogs. And they're not. People throw out half-grown dogs, okay? If for what somehow or another the pup manages to make it up, especially if it's a female, I almost used the other word, and she runs across a coyote that's well fed and it's a male and she's in heat, the offsprings are not mules, okay? The offsprings are viable genetic reproducers. But when those offspring meet the coyote recognizes them as a coyote. They're no longer, it doesn't have to be a special occasion for things to happen. So you wind up with dog DNA being bred into the coyote population, which causes you to have larger, more pack-like, aggressive dogs running around out there that are 5 to 10 pounds heavier than the breed is supposed to be, that will actually work together in packs of 3, 4, and 5 to take down a deer or a cow or whatever. I've got a video out there on the coy dogs. I don't believe in barn cats, and I don't believe in throwing dogs out on the side of the road to starve to death. I don't believe in either one of those. There's no such thing as a barn cat. You're either feeding the cat or it's going off. If the coyotes aren't eating your barn cat, okay, well, the coyotes must have ate all the cats. No, the barn cats ate all the mice in the barn that they could find, and then they left. And they're out there eating quail and dove and pheasant and rabbits and other people's chickens.
Steve Folk was in here and he said, off topic, my wife watched 60 Minutes tonight and was upset about ARs and mass shootings, dead babies, etc. Now I'm in defense mode thanks to CBS.
That's right. Boycott CBS. Tell her that black guns save lives. This gun saved the life of one of my favorite chickens today. This big, vicious, Democratic, he had on a blue cap. This Democratic hawk come flying out. And my little chicken that had a little red hat on, it come down and it busted that hen up and pinned her to the ground underneath a catclaw bush. We went running outside, and I drew my little pistol, and I went, pow! I missed the hawk, but it flew away because it was like really far out. But still, the hawk went away, and the chicken is still alive. Black gun saved the life of a Republican today. A mother of 20.
That's a heart-wrenching story.
It really is.
It makes me want to go buy a 17 HMR pistol.
I was sitting here when the noise kicked up. I saw that, and I never thought about turning around and grabbing that. The hawk wouldn't have flew off, and I don't like shooting hawks. That hawk has lived here for 3 or 4 years. It's never messed with the chickens. But because of the barn cat situation, the poor bird's got nothing to eat. So I'll get off my soapbox now.
I didn't realize you had such a problem with barn cats, Wes. I'm feeling some animosity here towards the barn cat.
Oh, yeah. Really don't like them.
Drop our faiths out.
Later, drop fire. Yeah, we'll probably.
Savage said, so you're the cock. And I said, yes, you are.
Our roosters are the losers, okay? We never heard incoming, because roosters, that's their job. They're supposed to stand around like this all day long, look at the sky and go, incoming! Then I knew which way to look because that's where the stream of chickens was coming from. And I almost didn't recognize what was going on until I realized it was 2 birds fighting on the ground, and well, that wasn't going to work. Because one of them didn't have a straight beak, it was kind of crooked. Hawks are like my favorite animal ever. I've actually rescued them. I've taken countless number of birds of prey to the animal rescue in Big Spring. They've had to euthanize all. Well, they always say don't rescue the bird. You got it because you got to have the permits and this, that, and everything else. Okay. You find a great horned owl with a broken wing and it's not displaced. Okay. It's not that bad. It's a young owl. It's literally still got baby feathers here and there. It's just started flying real good. It's healthy. It's not emaciated, nothing. You take it to the rescue and you call to check on it a week later. And they say, oh, we euthanized it. There was nothing we could do. What? It had a broken wing and that was it. There was no internal damage. There was no blood in the stool. There was nothing. Because it took a while to get the bird there. It's not like an overnight deal. The bird was eating the whole 9 yards. And come to find almost every bird, all but one bird of prey that I took, the rescue, the bird rescue, they euthanized. I don't bother anymore. So if I can't fix it and cut it loose, I don't mess with it. Not that I would ever do that because that's against the law. But if I did, I would have done it successfully more than once. Loons too. Loons aren't automatically dead. Go figure. If they accidentally wind up in a bathtub for a couple of weeks and get fed regular and stuff, give a chance to heal up from, the busted ribs and stuff they receive from slamming into the road in front of you. You can, when they accidentally get out of the bathtub and accidentally get dropped in the pond, they take off and they fly away home.
There's a lot of accidents in that
Even
scenario.
the freaking tree huggers are lazy, man. They're like, we've got to save all the animals. Give it a shot. So, either you really care about life or you don't. It's that simple. And I do want all you people over here thinking that I'm some kind of soft, nice, big-hearted person. Not ruining my reputation. So, anyway, get out and vote, people. Vote red. Republican, not communist red.
Yeah, what kind of comments did we get off all that voting stuff? Were people saying they were going to vote, or were they saying, no, it doesn't do any good?
I don't know. I think most of the people in here are voters. Think about it, guys. I mean, there's a couple of 100,000 dead Democrats within driving distance from you that are voting.
Yeah.
So even with all those the last election, the live Republicans won.
But barely.
Barely.
And they won. They did it in Alabama. They stole that Senate seat in Alabama. It's Alabama. First off, the two best things to ever come out of Alabama were I-20 and I-85. But
hey, now
that's a little Southern humor for you.
well, I don't know. My family left Alabama in the 60s? No, the 50s. 50s. Dad picked everybody in a green Chevrolet.
I don't think you told me that your people came from. Yeah, you know what? You did tell me that, and I forgot. I'm sorry.
Georgia and Alabama.
Georgia and Alabama.
The three best things. There's three good things coming out of Alabama: I-20, I-85, and Wes.
Yeah, there you go. But if you can see, if you're anywhere close to DeKalb County, and you can see a place called Sand Mountain, there's lots of my DNA buried on that hill. So, a lot. Not actually mine, but like where my DNA comes from.
I was about to say, was that the makeout spot on Friday night? What were you doing up there in Sand Mountain?
It's kind of funny. My branch, my dad's immediate Offspring and stuff are the only ones that do not have their Cherokee Nation card. We're the only ones.
Mike Gilbert said, "Hey, I'm butthurt." Saying nothing good comes from.
Oh yeah, Mike Gilbert's from Alabama too. He and Mike Gilbert. Wait, you ain't out of Alabama. You're still in Alabama, right? You live in Alabama, so you're okay.
One of our moderators goes by the name Dean Goldberry, and he's out of Alabama too. So I guess I shouldn't be running my mouth about it.
Oh, I was born in Louisiana. I got to Texas just as quick as I could. I'm not a coon ass. I don't even talk like a hillbilly or any of that crap.
Okay.
I'm Texan. Well, I got here as quick as I could.
You said you voted for a couple libertarians this time. I actually know one of the bigwigs in the Texas Libertarian Party. I can hook you up with the libertarians if you want.
No, I'm good because there's a lot of the stuff the libertarians push through that I'm not for. I am not for the legalization of recreational marijuana. I'm not. Okay, that's personal. It's on me. I know for a fact that crack can ruin your world. So it's not a gateway drug. I got a place you can push your lips. Okay, because yeah.
I've never smoked marijuana. I don't have any use for it myself. I think it's gotten to the point though where it's too expensive for us to prohibit it. I may or may not have spent a little bit of time in the local county Huskow, and the vast majority of everyone who may or may not have been in there with me were in there for some kind of recreational drug use. Most of it involving marijuana.
It's
just gotten.
That's a societal problem because everybody's willing to risk going to jail for something that's not doing them any good. Marijuana has no medicinal value at all. Okay. The actual that's rolling a joint and smoking it is not going to cure your cancer. It will increase your appetite and lower your pain. But for every joint, you might as well put pack of cigarettes in your mouth and light it and smoke the whole thing. Because the amount of carcinogens in one cigarette or marijuana cigarette is equal to 20 tobacco cigarettes. Now, there are chemicals within marijuana, within cannabis, that have benefits and that can fight cancer. But you have to take them out of the marijuana and redistribute them. Medical marijuana is legal everywhere. Almost all the medicine out there has some kind of something derived from marijuana in it. They grow commercial grade medical marijuana and then they milk it. They squeeze it and they take the drugs out. And then they put it in a little pill and you take it and you're hungry. Oh, you're happy. Yay. Your headache's gone. Yay. But you're not going, dude, you're not wasted. THC doesn't know nothing for you. There's no benefit to THC. THC is not the pain. THC is not actually what reduces the pain. And we can have a big old argument about this, but this is something I have researched in detail.
You've rehearsed the marijuana,
huh? I've rehearsed this marijuana thing.
Were you doing that on Sand Mountain?
No, but before Mrs. over here, and actually for first year, thereabouts, I smoke. I mean, yeah, I was a libertarian. It was my life. I do what I wanted to. But until, and she didn't make me quit. She just said, I don't like you when you do that stuff. Not like she doesn't like it when I do this stuff. She said she didn't like me when I did it. I wanted her to like me. So I didn't smoke anymore. And my world turned around. Instead of being 20, 30 minutes late 3 or 4 times a week, I was only 2 minutes late every day. You know, that's a big change. And instead of changing jobs every 2 months, worked at the same place for years. You can call it getting older or whatever. I know guys that smoke dope that are very educated and have really high paying jobs and stuff. They're actually in the medical profession. They can't stay working at the same hospital for more than a year. So while there are benefits to the chemicals within the plant itself is not beneficial.
I knew a guy who he was brilliant. I mean, he was just brilliant, and he smoked a little bit, but he had a bad injury and his arm got hurt real bad, and he started smoking a lot because he decided that the and I understand his reasoning. The medical painkillers he was taking were messing with his head or something, and so he started smoking marijuana just all the time to deal with this pain. And it was a legitimate bad injury. I think he had like 18 surgeries or something. He had some stupid amount of surgeries over the course of 2 years, but it completely changed him from this hard charging go getter with his own business and employees. And before it was all said and done, he'd renounced his faith and run off to Oregon to work on a marijuana farm. And he had his beautiful family, and now they're all busted up. And maybe you can't blame all that on the marijuana. But when I saw the change in him, I saw it start when he started smoking that marijuana.
Yep.
As much as he was. He was. I mean, like crazy smoking it.
I know guys that literally they can, they hit one a couple of times on a Friday night at a party, and that's it. They're okay. But then I know the guy that he's got a bag of it on Thursday, and by Saturday is gone.
Yeah.
And
I know guys like that.
That was me. So, Monday I was looking for another bag. I didn't smoke just a little bit. I was a dope head. And then I switched over from that and went to methamphetamine. And we're not going to start that conversation again. And as to whether or not I believe that there are stuff that's beneficial about marijuana, this is derived from. This is legal. Take it every day.
I just watched you do drugs.
Yep. But
am I an accessory now?
Yes. This is actually legal, and all it does is it makes it so ibuprofen work. For those of you who care, I've got bone on bone 3 places in my back. I have one knee that has almost no cartilage left in it. I have the other one that's about half gone. I've got a torn rotator cuff in both shoulders. I've got a torn tendon in my right arm. I have a badly set, broken right foot, which causes my toes to look funny. I have dislocated my left hip twice. I deal with pain every day. So I look for reasons not to do pain. If I cannot do heroin, if I cannot do opiates to get rid of the pain, if I cannot smoke a joint not to do the pain or deal with the pain, if I can tough it out and just grit my teeth and go on and not give in to the drugs, so can you. There you go.
Yeah.
Is it easy? No. I could take me a Valium right now, but I got 28. The hard stuff, I've got 20 29 and a half years since I've done methamphetamine. I had been off of meth for almost 5 months when I met my wife. But I was still doing the other periodically. And I only smoked on the weekends when I met her. But from the time I was 16 to the time I was 27, I was high all the time. So, well, I mean, that's people always, you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. Anyway,
I
that
was
went.
very fortunate. I never fell into that stuff. It was only by the grace of God, but
Well,
I was able to
I'm the
stay
only
away.
one in my that I know of. Only one in my family that did. I'm sure I got cousins and stuff that are just like me. I lost a son to the, well, not lost, but he's taking a hiatus because of the crap, and it's just it's crazy. I got no use for a drug dealer. You know,
High desert, so.
high desert. We're gonna shut it down here too. I think. If you got anything else you want to say to him, because
Yeah, no, I mean, I could talk for hours if someone's going to sit and listen. Just begging you, please go vote. I hate to sound like a broken record, uh, but please go vote. How
yeah, and
many
on the
folks
meet and
were
greets,
with us?
go meet people, greet them, make
Oh
contact.
yeah, the meet. Let's talk about the meet and greets for a few minutes,
I mean, show your
because those
stink.
really
Hey,
are really important. Uh, it's how far to go. I want to talk about another kind of group we're involved in, but I don't want to blow everyone's mind. Uh, we're involved with this other movement, kind of separate from the homestead and the prep and everything, that that's centered around restoring families to an Old Testament biblical model, uh, and without going to all the details, that blows people's minds a lot. And in this community, it's really small community and just isolated all over the spot place. And it's always really, really interesting when we go to these retreats and meet all these people, how relieved and happy everyone is to be around someone who's like-minded. And suddenly you're not isolated, and it's not you know you're surrounded by the enemy on all sides. Suddenly you're with people who you can trust to a certain extent and relax. And that's really, really important, uh, period. And it applies to our community, this community as well, where we all don't like have the exact same focus, but generally we're all people who take responsibility ourselves for security and safety and whatnot, and we don't farm that out or outsource it to other people. uh, and it's really, really important to just have that time where you meet people like that and you just kind of go, oh, and you relax for a second, and you don't feel like a weirdo or you're ostracized. These meetups are really, 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 really important. Uh, Important big things could come out of these. Uh, I'll do a little bit of name dropping, and yeah, I am bragging here a little bit. We got to spend some time with Pastor Fox over there from Viking Preparedness last weekend, and he talked to me about some of this stuff while he was here, uh, and sort of some of his vision for these meet and greets and what he hopes comes out of them. And I told Wes a little bit about it earlier, and I don't know that I can tell you everything he told me. Not to make myself sound important, but I just don't know how much of it he's ready to have public. But he has a visions for these things that's pretty cool, and could be very, very, very important in the future. So if you have an opportunity to go to one of these meet and greets, please do so. I can tell you this: I know that that the next step in his vision is that for these meet and greets to continue and go strong and be umbrella groups, but he'd love to see smaller, more cohesive, more geographically concentrated groups come out of these larger umbrella groups, and then those come together the smaller groups come together into these bigger meetups at different times. For those of you who are interested in this from an Old Testament standpoint or a Torah standpoint, this type of thing was actually commanded of the old Israelites. The host had to come together 3 times a year, which is real similar to what we're talking about here. I'll try to flesh that out in a video myself sometime in the future about these 3 times a year when the host came together, because my big thing is the militia, the general militia, and this is a biblically mandated. We have this period, this thing in the Old Testament that's essentially a mandated militia. I'll talk about it in the future. I've got to do more research on it before I really make that strong stance. But those meetups are so important, and big things are going to come out of that. And I know, especially in Texas, man, that place is so big and it's so hard. I drove a motorcycle from here one time. We live on the eastern side of Georgia to El Paso, and it took me longer to get. It was farther across Texas from Beaumont to El Paso than it was from the eastern ends of Georgia to Texas. It was stupid how far it was across Texas. So I know you guys can't just, I'm in Texas, go to the Texas meeting. It's not that easy. But here's what Pastor Fox would say. He said, if there's not one near you that you can get to, then host one. Do what Wes did. Host your own stinking meeting. And if only 2 or 3 people show up, that's fantastic. That's actually the exact right size.
And yeah, and the beauty of it is where I'm at. The reason I decided to, and I've said on video that I voted for myself for this. Nobody else was doing this anywhere. I couldn't find anybody, not on Viking Predators, nowhere, that was doing it in Texas. And I'm like, okay, I'm literally, give or take 10 or 15 miles. I am 90 miles from San Angelo, 90 miles from Abilene, 90 miles from Midland, Odessa, 90 miles from Lubbock. I'm like right in the middle of all the major population areas around me. It can literally be, if somebody wants to have a meet and greet in San Angelo, I can be there in an hour and 25 minutes. If somebody wants to have one in Midland, I can be there in an hour and 25 minutes. Odessa, an hour and 45, because Odessa and Midland and Odessa are not in the same place. But if somebody wants to have one in Lubbock, I can be there in an hour and 30 minutes. Somebody wants to have one in Abilene, I can be there in an hour and 20 minutes. It's and I'm willing to go 2.5 hours, so I can make other sides. I can make small towns further to either side of them to make it accommodate, so to meet the people. All I'm offering really, I want to meet the people, but somehow or another wound up with almost 3,000 subscribers. Maybe if they'll tell me about the meet, I can put it out here. I've mentioned Grouchy's every time I could think about it to get as many people hearing that there's a meet and greet in Midland at the IHOP on I-20 in Midland, the 11th, 2 o'clock, show up. We're going to have pancakes. Okay. You're buying your own pancakes. I'm not buying your stinking pancakes. Grouchy's not buying your stinking pancakes. Buy your own stinking pancakes. Same at the TA the next weekend. You're buying your own buffet. But we're hoping for barbecue, so it's not that bad. They're important.
I would say the same thing. If I can put any of these out there for anybody, I would love to do that too. Send me the information, and I will definitely put them out on my channel. I'm not that big, but
you're just like me, or you're just like me. You like what, like 8,000, 9,000 subscribers, something like that. You've got people in Australia, England, France. I've got a guy that follows me from Japan. That's so weird, but
that's funny. We've got someone from France. We got a bunch of people from Ireland and a couple from England. It's pretty fun to see some of these places where people watch our videos.
Does Just Date ever come over to your stuff? Have you ever
Who's
seen a
that?
guy named Just Aid? Has Just Aid ever come over to your channel?
Yeah, I have seen that name.
He's he's been in a couple of my live podcasts with me, man. I love that guy. I mean,
Oh
he's
yeah.
super cool. If he needed an address for a visa, he could have mine. He's welcome here anytime.
Grouchy Dude
Well,
said
where is he from?
there won't be any recording unless they want.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Okay, Grouchy said to tell y'all there's not going to be any YouTube recording, no video, no pictures, no nothing unless you specifically request it. Uh, I found out that there was at my meet and greet, the guy didn't know I was there, and I apologize. I should have made it clear. The cameras will be on site, but they will not be turned on unless everybody is comfortable with the camera being turned on, and that means everybody. If you don't want to be on camera or whatever, you won't be on camera. If you don't want your voice won't be there. I mean, this isn't for YouTube. I'm not going and doing this stuff for YouTube. Uh, it's not. I'm using YouTube to try and make it work. I'm not using the meet and greets for YouTube. There's a big difference. At either one of us, either mine on the 17th or his on the 11th, there will not be cameras unless you want cameras. Unless everybody says, hey, yeah, sure, let's go live, or yeah, sure, we'll do an interview, whatever. We can do that. But I'm not just gonna okay, everybody smile. I was in Oklahoma for what that thing, we stretched that out over 5 hours, something like that. 5 or 6 hours we were walking around. We had a blast. I only posted 15 or 20 minutes worth of video because people didn't want cameras. So there was no camera. It's that simple. It's not hard. It never occurred to me that you needed to tell people that you were going to respect their privacy. I can understand why some people don't want their name and their face out there, because there's some people that have jobs and standings in communities and this, that, and everything else. But if your only reason for not wanting people to know you're a prepper is because you're a prepper and you don't want people coming and stealing your stuff, it's really not. You don't want to go and take pictures of your food storage and your gun safe and, the combination. And this is how you get in, folks. That would be dumb.
Don't put your address out there, but
yeah, don't throw your address out there. OPSEC, y'all be quiet. There's only a few of y'all that actually have my address, so blah. But I got y'all's too. But that's why I have a post office box now. I mean, people kept asking for my address, and I was like, "Oh, you can't give them that." So I pick up my mail 15 miles away. It's not killing me.
yeah, I've had a couple guys ask me, hey, can we send you stuff? And I just don't want to. I hate to be rude, but I just don't want to give you my address. I'm sorry. And I haven't set up the PO box yet. I don't know if I will even. I may just have a policy of I'm sorry, we can't have direct contact like that. But I hate saying that on time, because people just want to be involved. Some people like, hey, I got this thing that would be cool. I'm gonna send it to you. Mark Chase. And like Mark, I would give my address to. But the other day he contacted me and said, hey, I had a 410 video up, and he said, I want to send you this 410 reloader. And I just don't know how to handle that stuff yet.
That's I broke down, and what do we pay for 6 months? Like $20 or something like that. $20 for 6 months. You just go in and get the little letter size deal. PO box. Check it once a week, and whenever I've got something in there, there's usually a key with a number on it, and you walk around the deal and you open this really big box, and there's something in there, like that big pile of rope right there. Normal sent that to me, and that Mora Westwind sent that to me. My hatchets, I got it back up there by a wood stove. Steve Foco sent that to me, and people were sending me stuff. I have lighter fluid from the 50s that somebody sent me. Mostly I got it so people could, I wanted letters. I still can't get a letter from anybody. Because seriously, I mean, if you write the letter, they can't see it. They're not going to steam it open and read it. And if you put something in there that prevents the high intensity light from passing through, they can't read it. Don't put aluminum foil because that sets off the little chingaderi. But the emergency blanket does not. Okay, that's simple.
Well, Wes, we have hit my drop dead time, sir. I got work in the morning.
Yeah.
And I have enjoyed this to no end, but I'm going to have to call a halt to my participation.
All righty. I appreciate you coming over and chatting with us and stuff.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for staying at me to get this set up so I can do this. This is fun. This is a good tool.
All right. Now we do a thing on Friday nights, and I know you've got Torah or you've got the Sabbath and everything.
Yeah.
I can probably, if it suits you, on a Tuesday night from 7 or whatever, I can switch. On one week, I'll switch my Bible study, my Tuesday night Bible study, to Friday, and then we'll do the podcast thing or whatever on the Tuesday. But we'll work that out. So.
I can probably do, as long as I'm not involved in commerce, I can do the Friday nights. You know, it's like if I do anything on the channel on that involves the Sabbath, I just don't monetize it, and then that satisfies my conscience, and no one's been able to convince me different yet. So, you know, as long as I wasn't making money or monetized on it, it wouldn't be a violation for me to do something on the Sabbath, as far as my understanding right now. So that would be fine. But you'll have to return the favor sometime and do this for me on my channel one night. So
I will anytime you want. Give me a call. And everybody's, or Biddy Boo said to give Mariah a hug. And
say hello to Biddy.
Hey, Biddy.
Hi, Mariah. Anyway, if it's a boy, feel free to name it Wesley or whatever.
Well,
I'll give you permission.
His name's got to end in Aya, so it'll have to be Wesley Aya.
Wesley Aya. I'm just saying my father's name was Isaac.
So. Isaac's a good name. Isaac's a good name. I've got an Isaiah already, though. That's the problem when you've got this many kids. You start running out of names at some point.
Just
all the men in my family, our last names are Old Testament names that end with Aya. So like I'm Zechariah, and we have a bunch of the other ones. So
Wesiah? Who said Wesiah?
So we've got a boy's name picked out for this one if it's a boy. I haven't heard maybe what the current favorite is for a girl name if we have a girl. I have to see what the options are at the time being.
Well, good luck. Keep us all advised or whatever. If she needs any coaching, like when the time comes, I'll get online and I can type out breathe and stuff. And apparently everybody thinks that's really funny. So
you know what? We may have some interesting things to talk about on this birth. We may have some of this pregnancy on the channel. We didn't the last one, but I'll just tease it right now. We may be going a little extreme for this birth, so we may take you guys along for some of this. I don't know for sure yet if we're going to put it on the channel or not, but we might. So there you go. That's my teaser.
Well, she's got a benchmark to try to hit now because the Rachel had that like 9-pound kid. That's your mark, Mariah, is 9 pounds. Yeah, you got to cook it to a full 9 pounds.
Yeah, she said we've already had a 9-pounder.
Okay, go for 9.5. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's the one that's going to get yelled at, not me. Anyway, God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe.
Good night, sir. You tell Miss Wes S. good night for us too, please.
Be blessed.